Hi, Denny Doyle here. And when I'm not making Fire Emblem content, I'm kind of obsessed with the roguelike deck builder Monster Train 2. So, this is my tier list for all the Pyre hearts. If you know nothing about Monster Train 2, this will make no sense to you. And, I expect this video to flop, but fuck it. We're doing Monster Train 2. Also, I have the actual stats pulled up because the tier maker list that I found, I think it's out of date. Like Heart of the Pact, for example, it says it's 55 HP, but it's actually 65 HP, Heart of the Pact. So, and that does make a big difference because the HP upgrades you get upon beating the flying bosses are percentage based. So 10 HP is actually kind of a big deal. With that in mind, Proto Heart Cage. This is the standard heart. It doesn't have any special abilities. It just has the best stats overall. It has third highest HP at 80. The only ones that are higher than it are Pyre of Entropy, or no, it's tied with Freya's Greed. So yeah, that's the second highest HP, with right after Pyre of Entropy. And it has the highest attack? Pyre Savagery is higher. It's that, anyway, its whole thing is its stats are good. Not having any special abilities seems like it would be a bit of a drawback, but most of the special abilities are kind of ass. So I'm actually going to put it in A tier. I think the Proto Heart Cage is low-key one of the better hearts, just because, yeah, you don't get any sort of bonus, but like, what, are you really excited for like Winged Spirit or like Aquath's Reservation? No, I don't think so. Heart of the Pact is, these stats are not accurate. It's 35 attack, but it is 65 HP, as I mentioned earlier. And its special ability is if you play a card from each of your two packs, your allied and your main covenant, your factions, both factions, then you get an extra draw next turn. You don't draw on the turn that you play them, you just get the draw next turn. I don't know if that's better or worse, honestly. There's some situations where I'm like, I'd rather draw here, but also sometimes you have to use two cards, and sometimes that spends all of your mana. I think this is a decent way to fix your draw. It's just +1 draw, but that's also how much a draw upgrade gives. The condition is a little annoying to meet. You're not always going to want to do something for both clans, especially as you get into the later rings and start really building your decks. Sometimes you'll just be like, all of my synergies are from one of the clans and not the other ones. And at that point, Heart of the Pact is just like a worse version of Proto Heart Cage. Its stats are like fine. 65 HP is a little on the low side, but there's like 60s and Savagery. Savagery's at 50. It's fine, but I feel like sometimes it just feels like you're sacrificing stats for nothing. What is this? Life Mother's Pyre. I actually have to check what that does. Oh, it gives you the copy option at merchants. Honestly, I think that's probably pretty good. So, full disclosure, this is the only Pyre I've never used. I think it's pretty good, though. Like, being able to copy at merchants, I guess it would depend on how much it costs. It's 75, right? All the special stuff is 75. Assuming that it is not inordinately expensive, like it's not more than 75 gold, this seems pretty good. You're only sacrificing 10 attack and 5 HP. That's not that terrible. You know, your HP and attack are, like, they're percentage based, the upgrades. So you are losing more than that in the long term, but I think it's still fine. Life Mother's Fire seems good. I should probably run that sometime. Malikia's Shifting Pyre. Oh boy. I'm probably going to upset people with this one, but I'm putting this in C tier. It's great when it works out in your favor. Because, so in general, the idea is you get an extra upgrade on every card that you draft, but only creatures and spells can be upgraded. So if you're drafting like equipment or room, then you're just SOL. Usually you want a good number of creatures and spells anyway, so like that's fine. The bigger problem is, in theory, you're saving money, and sometimes you'll get the nuts. You'll be like, oh, this is the perfect upgrade for this creature, you know, like endless on Greed Dragon, or fucking plus attack on Hothead, or something like that, right? But more often than not, you'll either get an upgrade that it's like, oh, okay, fine, or that makes the card unplayable. Like, for every time you get an anti-consume on, Spike of the Legion, or Spike of the League, Lazarus League, you'll also get something like, fucking, add consume to a spell that you want to be casting over and over again, like add consume to a mixed spell or something. I'm struggling to come up with examples, but frequently you'll just get abilities that are bare minimum dead weight and sometimes actively harmful. And when that happens, it's worse than not having an upgrade in some ways. Like, even if an upgrade is not actively harmful, just having it take one of the 2 upgrade slots means you can't really customize your carry as much. So I really don't like Malikia's Shifting Pyre. Same with the artifact that has the same effect. I find them to be pretty bad. Next up is Winged Spirit. I might actually... Do I move Malikia down to D tier? I don't think it's D tier. There's only one Pyre that I think really deserves D tier. I think I'm gonna leave Malikia in C for now, but I think it is pretty bad. Okay, next up is Winged Spirit. Winged Spirit's also a C tier. It's another one with a special ability, and the special ability sucks. So, once per battle, you can use Winged Spirit's activated ability to heal the front unit to full HP. That's it. And, like, I don't know, if your frontliner isn't good at tanking, like, if this was the whole floor, maybe it'd be useful for, like, Corruption Sarah or Savagery if you manage to survive a sweeper, but, like, you're not. You're not doing that. So, like, maybe for Corruption Sarah, maybe for, like, Spikes, facing off against something with spikes, like the Spike Shield guys, or the Penitent Prayer Stone. But, like, just healing your frontliner, if your tank isn't surviving just based on what you have, like, maybe this can be useful in the first couple of rings. I've definitely used it to help out a tank that I haven't, like, upgraded or haven't built my deck to help my tank survive or whatnot. But so often, you're healing, like, 5 HP on a couple of people. Like, oh, Shield Steward heals up 5 HP. Whoop-de-doo. If Winged Spirit saved your run, you're in pretty dire straits to begin with. I do think it's worse than Malikia's Shifting Pyre. Yeah, I really don't like Winged Spirit. Freya's Greed is S tier, though. So, this is... anytime your Pyre takes damage, you gain 10 gold. This is... it saves you money. It also has stats very close to Proto Heartcage. It's got the same HP and just 10 less attack. Now, the HP is a little bit of a lie because you want to be getting hit, so, like, your HP is going to be lower in general than Proto Heartcage. So, this is the playthrough where you don't cast your shards, your Vengeful Shards. This is the playthrough where you're like, oh, I could snipe this fatty, or I could just let him hit me for 3 damage, and then I'll get 10 gold. So it's a little bit misleading. Like, this is not the bulkiest heart. You can play it like that. Like, you can't just play it like it's a worse Proto Heartcage, but you shouldn't. You should be looking for opportunities to take tiny bits of chit damage and get extra gold. You can make a couple hundred gold pretty easily in the early game, and then, like, start upgrading people. And even if you let, like, fatties by and hit the back line, like if you have a sweeper or spells or something to pick them off, just let the big guys hit for a small amount of damage. Even in the mid and late game, making money is good. Like, you can buy more artifacts before ring 9, you can, or before ring 8, you can buy, because you don't do anything before going to the Titan fight. You can buy more upgrades, you can buy rooms and spells and equipments and make things deployable. Like, it's all good. It's all baller. Money is awesome. Aquath's Reservation, I feel like this should be better but I never have good experiences with the Quest Reservation. So 65 HP, already kind of low HP, and the effect that it has is really not that outstanding. It's another activated ability like Winged Spirit. This one, it adds 3 mana. You can only do it once per battle. So you can sort of line it up to be like, this is going to be a big turn. Activate my reservation to do a big turn. Maybe against the boss, when the boss shows up. Maybe you want to get rid of a Calcified Ember. And you're like, I don't want to eat my entire turn with this Calcified Ember. A Quest Reservation can do that. Maybe you just, like, want to cast a good number of spells, like, get your incants up or something. I don't know. So it can be nice. I find that more often than not, fixing your mana for only 1 turn isn't actually all that useful. The other, sort of, the fixing your draw and fixing your space, your pips, those are more permanent effects. Fixing your draw as well, although that's questionable. This being a one-time, like, only on one specific turn, you can get good use of it, but it's Bogworm's Growth. I quite like Bogworm's Growth. It very much depends on the clans you're using, obviously. Like, don't take this if you are using clans that don't really care about space upgrades. But it's basically, over the course of a run, it's basically equivalent to taking both space upgrades. So what it does is, at the end of every battle, you will randomly gain 1 space to one of your floors. And it could spread them out, it could put them all in one place, it could just split them between 2. It's random, it's out of your control. It can be a little annoying if it's like, I want to play bottom floor, but the space is all going to top floor, or vice versa. The fact that you can't control it, I think, keeps it down to only B tier, maybe under Heart of the Pact. I like it a lot. I tend to, if I can't think of what I want for my Pyre, I tend to go with this or Entropy as sort of my go-to, just sort of like, okay, it's fine. But it's also pretty bulky. Like, 70 HP, 30 attack is eh. Is that the lowest attack? It is the lowest attack, tied with Pyre Dominion. So it's not actually all that bulky, because it's gonna be taking a lot of hits from, like, if heavies get up there, right? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Sort of B tier. What is this? Father Time? Yeah, Echo of Father Time. This is the freeze one, right? It's another activated ability. You can do it once, and it freezes all of the cards in your hand except for Blights and Scourges. I really don't feel like freeze is all that useful. Like, the Permafrost upgrade can be nice for, like, really expensive cards, but you shouldn't be running so many expensive cards that you need to freeze everything in your hand. This can also get in the way of your draws. If you freeze too many cards in your hand, because your max hand size is 10, it can fuck you over in terms of, like, especially if you're running cards that generate multiple cards, like, the Thorns, the Encased Thorns, or, like, Encased Morsels, or those sorts of things. Gifts for a guard. I'm gonna put this the bottom of C tier, maybe D tier. Honestly, this might be our first D tier. I really don't like Echo of Father Time. It's at least got good stats. 40 attack, 70 HP. Like, they knew this wasn't very good. Yeah. Hevdril Sword's the big deployment one. So you get 4 extra mana, or Ember, in deploy phase, and the deployable upgrade is 50% cheaper, I think? Yeah, deployable is 50% cheaper. That's pretty good. It obviously depends on your clan, but if you are running someone who really wants to just, like, throw everyone out during the deployment phase, that's nice. It can let you get some of those really expensive rooms, like Spell Sanctum or Inferno Room, make them deployable, and then, like, you don't really care about the fact, Spell Sanctum especially, because Spell Sanctum's 3, or, like, Assembly Line with the Railforged, or, like, the Crystal Room for Wormkin. I can't remember the name of it. So it can be nice. if you want to do just really expensive deployments and not worry about them. I think I'm gonna put it as a solid B tier, right here. Oh, savagery. I fucking hate the Pyre savagery. So, this can be good with very specific, I guess let's just say what it does. It is anytime a creature kills an enemy, they get +1 attack permanently. So it can be good with, like, if you're running a sweeper and they're killing a bunch of people and they're just getting stronger, or that's basically it. You want to try to focus the kills all on a specific unit. I guess, like, Fell multi-striking kind of can do it early on, but really you just want it with a sweeper. It really only works with a sweeper, because you want to consolidate as many kills onto a single unit as possible, and sweepers are the way you do that. But the thing is, if you're running a sweeper, you've probably already got ways to power them up. Like, solving the problem of, like, okay, the sweeper has shit stats, how do I fix it, it's kind of how you win Monster Train 2. Is like, okay, let's give, you know, the Husk Hermit, or not Husk Hermit, Shattered Hermit quick, and then it'll, like, kill stuff and snowball that way. Or, you know, let's give someone a Bloodthirsty Blade, or stack Valor on my fucking Experiment Alpha, right? Something like that. Pyro Savagery can solve that, but, like, it feels like the weakest way to do so. I don't know. I guess it is technically better than Bloodthirsty Blade, because it is just Bloodthirsty Blade on everyone. I really don't like it. Its stats are pretty garbage, too. It at least has high attack, but 50 HP, that's the lowest, right? Yeah. This thing, so on Covenant 10, I think it's starting Covenant 7, actually, but when you're playing on the highest difficulty, which is what I'm rating this for, I should have said that at the start, but whatever, I'm saying it now. When you are playing at the highest difficulty, your Pyre starts out with 30% or 33% HP missing. So, this is lower than just 50 starting HP. This is going to be in the 30s. You can very easily just have a bad starting deck, because you can't really control your starting cards, and then get steamrollered by the first 2 bosses and just fucking game over. There's also just, like, a lot of decks that don't care about this effect, and it's not even like, oh, certain clans don't care about it. If you don't get a sweeper, this effect is basically, like, it's still something, but it's not much of something, right? Spreading out a couple of extra attack points amongst all of your units, especially if, like, train stewards start getting kills and stuff, right, early on. So this thing kind of sucks. I'm gonna actually, I think this is the worst Pyre in the game. I think this is the worst Pyre in the game. Dominion. So, okay, Dominion is the draft Pyre. It gets rid of your starting cards and gets rid of your train stewards, and you draft your own deck, which means it kind of works towards fixing your draw, because you don't have, like, as many useless cards clogging things up. If we consider, like, the starter cards and train stewards to be useless or, you know, less powerful. The thing is, there's actually a lot of clans that kind of rely on their starter cards. Like, you can't run Pyro Dominion with the Wormkin, because you just don't get purple cards. You can't run Pyro Dominion, or I won't say you can't. Like, you can draft powerful decks with any combination you want, but a lot of them don't want it. Like, Wormkin wants as many purples, so it wants all the starter cards. Fucking Underlegion, you don't get the spawn cards. The Banished, you don't get shift cards, and then half of the Banished creatures just read no text whatsoever. I guess if you're running, like, alt Banished. Umbra, you don't get morsels, and, like, this just... You don't get healing for any of the Awoken. Like, throwing out your starter card, even though starter cards are weak, and they tend to be, like, weaker versions of effects that you could theoretically draft, it so often weakens your deck instead of strengthening it. It strengthens card quality, but weakens consistency, if that makes sense. I think I don't know how much I wanna penalize for that though, because obviously if you're a skilled player, you're not gonna pick Pyre of Dominion when, like, oh no, I was planning on doing a mix build with a Raichi, and now I can't because I got rid of all my mix cards, or, oh no, I have no way to build up my forge with the Rail Forge because I used Pyre of Dominion. Like, you kind of know what you're getting into. I'm gonna put it in... I hate putting everything in B tier. I think Heart of the Pack goes up to A, and I'm gonna put this in B tier, underneath Bogworm's Growth. Yeah, this seems about right. Maybe underneath Ezreal's Horde too? Yeah, this seems about right. It can be really, really good, but the more I play, the more I think, like, drafting just isn't the way to get a good deck. Like, you get a good deck through drafting your cards as you're going through and adding those to the starter cards, rather than, like, if you've got, like, a shitty starter card, like Ekka, like, always draft with Ekka, because then you don't have fucking the 0 damage thing, but for the most part, drafting, I think, tends to weaken your deck. Weirdly. Like, you wouldn't think it would. It's fun. It's super fun. And then Pyre of Entropy. I think this is also an S tier. This is my favorite Pyre. I would have, a few weeks ago, I would have said this is the best Pyre in the game, but I think Freya's Greed is just better. This is, in quotes, the bulkiest Pyre, but, like, it's not. Because the way that it works is after every battle, you get a Vengeful Shard in your deck. Vengeful Shard is the 1 mana card that if you don't play it, it deals 1 damage to your Pyre. And that's a bad thing, obviously, getting a ton of Vengeful Shards. But it lets you draw 1 extra card for every 2 Blights in your deck. And the Vengeful Shards are one of the Blights. This makes you draw 10 cards. It doesn't quite fully fix your draw, because sometimes you'll just get turns where you're like, I drew 5 Vengeful Shards, so this is just the same as drawing my regular 5 cards, but now also my Pyre takes 5 damage, and like that sucks, right? But what it does do, it cycles through your cards much more quickly. It lets you run things like Endless and Holdover without clogging up your draw. So, the problem with Endless and Holdover, Endless makes a creature, when they die, get put on top of your deck. Holdover is when you cast a spell, it gets put on top of your deck. The problem with running those is you are still drawing that card, so they can sort of gum up your draws and make it so you're not drawing everything you want, right? Pyre of Entropy solves that problem, because you're always drawing 10 cards. It also just, like, it kind of fixes your draw. I would argue more than Heart of the Pact, it fixes your draw, because you get, like, if you're seeing 7, 8, 9, 10 cards, sure, 2 or 3 of them are going to be useless, and sometimes you'll get the terrible hands where you have a bunch of shards. More often than not, you're going to just be flush with options and like, I've got all these cards, what do I do with them? What you do is you take the mana upgrades both times, and now you're flush with cards, flush with options, flush with mana. You just do everything, right? Pyre of Entropy is really, really good, and I can understand being off-put by the shards. There are obviously some synergies, like Dante is good, obviously. If you're running the Rail Forged, shards are just easy smelting cards. So like there's some stuff you can do with them, but for the most part they are a downside. And like smelting is always good and Dante is always good, right? So like, oh no, we found a way to break Dante. But I do think that the power of the draw, like this Pyre just gives you so much draw. And I think that is enough to push it into S tier. Plus, it's just bulky. Like, yeah, the shards bring it down to where it's probably less bulky than Proto Heartcage, but like, it's probably on the same level as like Freya's Greed. Probably a little bit bulkier, because you're not necessarily wanting to get hit with the shards. God, can you imagine, like, just merging them together, though? All of the money and all of the draw. It'd be very funny. Yeah, that's my list. This has been your favorite Monster Train 2 YouTuber.